part of the career changes, establish connections. Not only finding mentors, but establish connections. Don't be afraid to be able to go out there and say, I don't know what I don't know, but I'm willing to start anywhere. Especially don't feel like you have to start immediately at the top because you got out. Maybe you were at the top and you expect that that's where you have to start. You may have to eat some crow and start at the bottom or in the middle and work your way up all over again. But that's something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself. And I think it's one of those things, finding out somebody that's going to tell you the hard things, the things that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. You're going to need to find somebody that's like that, that's already been there, done that, to be able to help you with that transition.
Hey, my name is Veronica Cisneros, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3 girls, and married for 23 years. I am obsessed with helping you navigate through the seasons of marriage, helping couples like you break free from feeling like roommates. I will teach you the secrets to having a healthy marriage by providing tools and tips to help you reconnect in a way that you can't keep your hands off each other, where flirting and kissing is the norm in your household. Setting intentional time to date, get to know and support each other's dreams and goals so that you can grow together without keeping score or judging one another. Where you feel seen and heard even when you disagree. Where arguments end with mutual respect and understanding. Where you work together to build and strengthen your family so no one feels like they're carrying the weight of the family on their own. These are the necessary skills your children need for you to model so that they develop healthy relationships and thrive in life. This is the Empowered and Unapologetic Podcast.
Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to introduce myself. I'm Willie Cisneros, husband to Veronica Cisneros, the host of the Empowered and Unapologetic Podcast. And today is a very special episode, which is near and dear to me because it's on Veterans Day. And we're going to talk about a number of things that veterans face inside and outside the household in married couples. And why it's special to me is because I spent 20 years in the United States Marine Corps, retired after 20 years of honorable and faithful service, spent multiple deployments to Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places, other countries throughout the world.
We can't say it. It's
as
top
well
secret.
as well as just spent many times and special moments away from my family, away from my kids, my wife. Missed a lot of special events. And I know that there's a lot of people that struggle with not only the transition, but also the reintegration back into the family and back into the household, where maybe the spouse that was at home was holding it down while you were away. And now you're trying to figure out, what does that life look like with you back into the mix?
So what we're going to be doing is we are going to cover some of the 5 common issues that couples face when, what Willie just said, when we're integrating back into the home. And this is going to be not only for those that are currently active duty, but also those that are retired. And so we're going to go ahead and list all 5. So the first one is reintegration and readjustment. So, baby, you want to cover what that's like as the service member?
Well, just for clarification, it's not just retirees. It's also those military members who have previously served in any of the armed forces and did so proudly. Mm-hmm. So we want to also thank those veterans as well. But reintegration, and what does that look like from the service member standpoint? It's after returning from either deployment or from a career, a military life career, and reintegrating back into the family. Going through those struggles. What do those struggles look like? Transitioning into civilian life when previously you knew exactly what that was like. It was already it was laid out for you. What even the things like what to wear. You didn't have to figure that out because you wore a uniform. What is your role back within the family? You may feel disconnected from family routines and find it difficult to relate to everyday life that continues with, in their absence. And then how do you reintegrate back into that as a new piece within the puzzle? So what does that look like? So as a service member, I would say that following those deployments is don't try to change the things that have already been working for your family. Just try to figure out how can you support your spouse and be the partner that he or she needs you to be versus trying to change things up because you want to be that alpha male or female that runs the household because you're the person that supported the family, provided all the monetary value to the family for so many years, and you feel that it's owed and entitled to you when it's actually not. There was another piece of that puzzle that was helping out the family, and now you're just finding yourself part of the family dynamic. So um, figuring out how you can best support one another versus becoming adversarial and trying to be a person that's in control.
What would you say was your hardest part about readjusting? Because what I get from a lot of women is my husband's in the military and therefore he doesn't do emotions. And that's not, I mean, obviously that's not true at all. But, I get that a lot. I get that from military wives or also even, I know we're talking about veterans, but I also get this from first responder wives. It's like I have a system and then my husband comes and like totally screws it up. What would you say as the husband? What would you say was the hardest part? So, like coming back from Iraq,
Mhm.
coming back from Afghanistan, coming back from Okinawa, what was the hardest part? You didn't see us for like 7 months straight, unless it was on Skype.
Well, some of those were different dynamics. Um, where one was a defensive posture, it was showing our presence in different parts of the world. Where other ones was I served in a combat zone, so my integration back to the family again was significantly different. I came back with trauma of my own that I was dealing with, um, where I almost died on two separate occasions, and so the shock of many things, like I found myself not wanting to be around certain smells, certain types of people, large groups at public areas. So some of those things that you know spouses don't normally deal with, um, some of those emotions start to set in when you're stagnant and when you're not doing anything. So when military members are constantly at a high adrenaline rush, just 100 miles an hour every single day, that drowns out those emotions, those feelings, those things that you've kind of dealt with for so long, because all that stuff is just it's fogging all that. And then when you finally do settle down and you're done, and now you're transitioning out, now you finally have to deal with all um, those suppressed feelings, those that feeling of brokenness, the lack of purpose, refiguring out what is your purpose in life and what are you going to do for the rest of your life. Um, are you going to be able to provide for your family? And not all people are not all service members have that challenge, because some of them figure it out before they get out, so the transition is easy. Some of them go into something that transitions pretty easily, so like law enforcement, first responders, and going into service types of fields like that, which are easy because it's very similar and like the military. But those that don't figure that stuff out and they want to just take time off, 6 months, a year off, whatever, because of they've just done it for so long, that's where it becomes hard, because now you're stuck in this funk of just dealing with, what the hell is this going on with me? Why am I just watching a commercial and I just start crying, or things that didn't bother me before are I'm short fused. So a lot of those things, you end up confused. You don't know how to deal with those emotions, and trying to deal with it on your own, whether it's through medication, through alcohol abuse, or other types of abuses and habits that you develop. You got to find out, what are healthy habits and coping strategies that will help you manage your days and get through this.
Did you feel like something was wrong with you when you came back home?
Definitely.
Did you feel like, you've been on like this constant alert, like you're completely hyper vigilant every
Hmm.
day, all day. And you come back home to oh my God, we haven't seen you in forever. And we want to go and show you off to all the places. Maybe not show you off, but like, holy shit, remember them times that I've gone to every single event and I didn't have a husband? Like now I just want to take you to every single event and experience like feeling like the couple. And I want to go out and I want to take the kids to Disneyland because I've been taking the kids to Disneyland all by myself. And now I want to go out with you and I want to go ahead and do all of the things because I want my family back. I want my family back. But when I get my family back,
and you want it to be normal like it was
before. I
before.
want it to be totally normal. But when I get my family back and when I got you back, babe, we could totally make eye contact. You don't have to stare at it. But you're like totally in it. If you guys aren't watching like the YouTube, Willie's like laser focused on the damn screen. But we could totally, I'm like looking at you the whole time. Anyways, but yeah, like I wanted like just you. And I wanted to like, I wanted to just feel like a family again because I knew most of my family was gone and you're most of my family besides all of our Rugrats. And like when you came back home, it was like, okay, he's home. We're going to do all of the things. And then you came back home and it was like, oh, wait a minute. You're home, but like you're not home. And a couple examples for me was like you would come home
like
and
the
you're
saying goes, the lights on, but nobody's home at times.
well, kind of, but
there's
that's like,
many, there's thoughts that are running and racing through your head as a service member, and you're trying to figure out like, how can I be normal? Am I acting normal? Is she noticing or he noticing my hypervigilance?
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm looking at every single exit. And when I sit down and that I'm not comfortable where I used to be able to just sit anywhere in a restaurant or in a public space, that now I feel like I have to sit with my back to the wall, which I still do to this day. Yeah. And my wife and my kids know that now because I've shared that with them, but they didn't know that before. There's certain people that I profile. I profile when I go into an airport, when I go into a public space, into any major events, concerts, things like that. I'm looking at, it's just now there's a different frame of mind when I look at just life differently because of my experiences and because of the trauma that I've been through.
Yeah.
So it's sharing those things that I've been through that I think that some spouses where they fail, service members, especially those that have been through some type of trauma or through combat, that they fail to communicate are those things. They don't share with their loved one what they need and how they can baby step back into normalcy and what that looks like, or what the expectation of what normalcy looks like from their spouse and what they would like to see. And communicating where they're at, that service member is communicating, well, this is where I'm at. And it's going to take me some time to be able to get there because right now I'm not ready for where you want me to be. Yeah. Because of what I've gone through. So I need you to understand that and work with me.
And I think for both of us, like, I know when you came home, you were trying to protect me and not share with me, not share all of the things and all of the struggles that you were going through. But I would see it when you would like grasp the steering wheel when you were driving and there was an oncoming car with headlights, I would see it. And I knew to see it. I knew to look for certain signs because again, because of what I do. Yeah. But like when you came home, you're like, I could give two shits about saving. I'm all about like spending. And you were like, everybody, like, I'm going to buy this for the kids. And it's like, babe, we already have it. And it's like, I don't give a shit, but it's not you. And it was just like, dude, no, for real, like calm the fuck down because I just saved. And you're like, and it was a struggle for me because there was a level of independence I had to have while you were gone. And then now I was struggling with respecting and maintaining that level of independence, but also sharing those roles. I had a systemized plan for the kids. We went to bed at a certain time. Like we ate at a certain time. Babe, I cooked like every single night. I was cooking. That was crazy. I know it doesn't happen. Don't even think about it. It's not going to happen anymore, but
let's just act like I'm deployed.
Or we cannot.
Act like I'm deployed.
Or we can. Listen, I served my time. I served my time. It was fun while it lasted. It's not fun anymore. But yeah, it was like all of those things. Baby, are you having a hard time with saying
Yes, I am. I'm not. This is painful. I'm beat up.
Okay, hold on.
Didn't I say 20 years?
You guys look at him. His ass looks like he has like ants in his pants. All right, baby, sit right here. Sit right here. You want to sit on here?
There's no sitting.
There is. You can sit there.
Oh my God.
So anyways, back
So
to what I was
broken.
saying. But yeah, there's like this.
Sucks getting old.
If you're getting old, I'm getting old. But anyway, there was like all of this, like all of this independence and all of these systems that like kept us in survival mode that really like when you came back home, I did struggle with sharing the responsibilities. I did struggle with supporting you as a father. I did struggle with letting go of those reins because I had done it a certain way and that way was working for me and for the kids. And I didn't know how to step outside of the role. And that for myself was a really big struggle.
Giving up control.
Well, it was giving up the control, but like there were so many assumed responsibilities while you were absent that readjusting to like the shared role, I'm not going to lie. I didn't want to give it up. And I didn't want to give it up because it's like, well, this shit is working. And then you come in the picture and I love you and I want you in it. However, I'm not sure how.
I want you to give it up in a different way.
Oh my God, babe. Of course. Sorry, you guys. Anyways, can we just be professional?
We are.
But anyway, like there was a shift in roles. And that was a really, really difficult shift. And I want to make sure, obviously, we're highlighting it just because that reintegration and readjustment was huge. Yeah. And then we speak about, you brought up like you being a retired Marine. Like for me, it was holy shit. Although I wanted you back and I couldn't do any more deployments. When you told me like, no, for real, I'm retiring. We're like literally driving to the ceremony. We have family in the back following us. It was like, I was still adjusting to, wait a minute, my husband's no longer going to be.
You don't have the audacity to ask me, can we change our mind?
I may have said that. Okay. Why are you bringing up old shit? I may have said that. But anyways, yeah, there was like a huge adjustment too, because it's like, wait a minute. Can you still wear the uniform?
Do some role playing?
Yeah, why not? Can you still wear the uniform? But there is like a community and you feel like there is this grieving process of also losing that community because I'm no longer a part of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, did you feel that way too? Like you're no longer with retirement?
No.
You don't want?
It's a different community.
I know, but I thought
like,
baby, how are we in the same car and somehow you just like jumped out the car and left me in the car by myself? You didn't miss the community? You didn't feel like you lost some of it?
I did. I miss
like that camaraderie?
Every time I go back on base, I miss it. I miss being out there with Marines. I miss
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now you're back in the car with me.
I miss the communication with them and just bullshitting with them. And they're just
it's
cut
different.
from a different cloth than your average person. And just it's different. I don't know. Marines are sick and twisted, and the humor goes along those lines. And you miss being around that because you don't find that in everyday society. You may find that in like law enforcement or fire departments or construction sites, areas like that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to find it in a lot of other areas. And I found out that the hard way.
Yeah. So that's what it was like for you.
Yeah.
So another issue that couples face, the service member as well as the spouse, is mental health issues. You want to take that on?
Sure. So as a service member, I would say that many veterans deal with mental health issues. Many of them, the ones that come to mind for many civilians, is PTSD. Not every veteran has PTSD, but many of them do. And PTSD, especially for those that are combat related, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of depression that's associated with depression and anxiety, always feeling anxious, feeling sad moments, highs and lows, which can be triggered by experiences during their service. These conditions can affect their behavior and emotional availability within the family. So their ability to take on additional emotions because of the kids and maybe the things that they're going through, it's a lot to shoulder and burden for some of the service members that they're dealing with their own issues, and sometimes they just don't know what resources or where they can find help.
Yeah.
Some of them, they've lost their trust and confidence in the VA, and being able to provide or find a suitable mental health clinician to be able to challenge them, to be able to look at the core issues that they're experiencing.
And that was a big one for you.
That's still an issue for me.
That was a really big issue for you.
I've gone through at least 11 different mental health providers, none of which I would say have ever challenged me in any way that would help me look at the core issues.
Baby, is that why you talk about like how I do therapy and how?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You want a therapist like me?
Yeah.
Really?
But I can't use you though, because it's a dual relationship.
Well, you can use me in other ways though.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the okay, all right.
Anyways,
I got excited. Anyways, yes, PTSD, depression, anxiety.
Yes.
How is that?
I would say that.
How does that impact the existing active duty service member?
Quick story with regards to mental health.
Yeah.
I never thought that this would ever happen, and I thought I was the only one that ever dealt with it. I've talked to 3 different people service members that retired.
Yeah.
And they experienced the same exact thing. So the issue was, so as you transition, you go through a final physical and you do all that stuff while you're in. And then when you get out, you go through a contractor from the VA that after you submit your claim, they send you to go get evaluated by providers out in town. They're people that are contracted with the VA. Some of them are for veterans. Some of them are against the veterans, because if they pay more out to the veteran, then they get less money. If they save the VA money, then the contractor gets paid more money because they're saving the VA money. That's the way a lot of it works. So I ended up going to a mental health provider, and I was like, and a guy that I ran into while I was in, had told me kind of, this is how the evaluations work. This is how you can get through a lot of your tests and your stuff to be able to get a higher rating. And so I thought I was going to be gaming the game, and I thought that this was going to be the case for me. And so I go to this is probably one of my second, third, fourth appointments, and it's my psych evaluation. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to act crazier, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I'm probably going to have to fake the funk. So I go in there and get asked, I'm filling out documentation, and I provide it to the doctor, and he looks at my assessment, and he starts asking me questions. And he's like, and then he starts like asking more questions than what was listed on there. And I was telling him the truth. I thought I was going to have to like say more and embellish more on certain things. And I found that I wasn't. And in the middle of when I'm getting evaluated, I have this feeling of brokenness that I had never felt or experienced before in my life. And I left that day. I didn't realize how much trauma that I had been through, and how broken I was psychologically. It was probably the biggest feeling of defeat that I had ever experienced. And then when I left there, because I was by myself, there was the feeling of loneliness, abandonment. And I broke down crying and sobbing and hurt for myself because of what I've been through.
Yeah.
And it hurt so damn much. And so I called my wife. She was in session. Texted her 911, which I never do. And she called me back. And I was going through a panic attack on the side of the freeway. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see clearly. And she's trying to talk me through just all that stuff. And she ended up going to my next evaluation, which went into further assessments of, psychological stuff, and didn't realize how much PTSD and trauma that I actually went through, to include the depression and anxiety and all that other stuff. So I would say that for a lot of the service members, a lot of that, you're probably going to experience that.
Yeah.
And rather than running away from it, or rather than trying to find other means to self-medicate and treat on your own, get professional help.
Yeah.
There's a number of resources. One that comes to mind is Psychology Today. You could go type up Psychology Today. I think it's .com, and go on there and look up a provider in your area, see exactly what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and find somebody local that's gonna be what you want,
Yeah.
and try to find somebody if you can't get somebody through the VA, because even if you have a 0% rating, you can still get treatment and be seen. And at least if you're in California, and in some states, all you need is a 0% rating, and you can get state um,
Fund.
state funds or
Mm-hmm.
state benefits.
Yeah.
So
And we also, at Outside the Norm Counseling, we also have clinicians who specialize in first responders, military service members, trauma related, obviously depression and anxiety. And so we are definitely here to help you guys as well.
I know looking for the right therapist can be challenging. However, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected is even harder. Life is filled with several twists and turns, some more severe than others. We do our best to handle them as they come and find ourselves at a loss, not knowing what to do or who to turn to. The clinicians here at Outside the Norm Counseling are here to help. We are here to assist you through this time of need. Together, we will identify your strengths and goals and teach you healthy coping skills. Together, we will develop a plan to help you live the life you want to live. Our team is compassionate, genuine, and we take a great deal of pride in providing an empathetic, non-judgmental approach to all of our clients. It's time! You've waited long enough, whether it be for you, your child, or if you're in need of a couple session. We are highly trained clinicians ready to guide you. Schedule an appointment now by calling 951-395-3288. Again, that number is 951-395-3288. We're looking forward to meeting you and being a part of your journey.
On the spouse's end, what I find for a good amount of wives, we end up on this, like, we're going to do everything we can to go ahead and save you and change you and help you. And a lot of, I'll say women, I know women serve the military too. Obviously that wasn't the case for Willie and I. Willie served. So I'm speaking about, my experience. But one thing I find often, especially in heterosexual relationships where where, let's say, either one of the partners deployed or were in the service, is the partner that is not in the military tends to be that support system. But you're that support system without the education, without the training, without the skills to go ahead and really provide the support your partner needs. And so instead, what I see a lot of partners do is they take on the recovery for their service member to try to make it better. And in reality, what really happens is, you said it really well, every time you were telling me to go ahead and seek professional help, it was as if I was kicking in the balls. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, don't tell me I'm broken. I already know I'm broken. I literally had a panic attack on the freeway. And every time you're trying to force me to get this help that I'm not ready to get, and I'm still struggling with processing what all of this means, leave me alone. And I know how discouraging that is as a partner, as a therapist. I know how frustrating that is. It is very important that you also get the help you need, because there's a huge emotional burden that we tend to carry. And it's a choice that we're making because we want to go out and help. But to truly support your partner, especially if they're a service member, active duty, or vet, or retired, the best thing you can do is provide yourself with education and not lose sight of who you are. It is very important you do the work on you. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to save your partner over and over, and that's going to cause a great amount of disconnect. And that internal struggle that you're experiencing to try to change or try to convince your partner to get the help they need is only going to build up into resentment. And so this is where I also encourage you to find a support group. Military, there are military, one source has it. Again, reach out to us. If you guys don't know who to contact, you are more than welcome to reach out to my office. We will provide you with the support you guys need, whether it be in-house or whether we provide you with referrals for somewhere else. We are here 1,000% for you. Another issue that couples experience is communication difficulties.
So for veterans, for service members, veterans might struggle with expressing their feelings and experiences, particularly those associated that are with trauma.
Yeah.
This can lead to withdrawal or avoidance of discussions about their emotions, creating a barrier in marital and family communication.
Bingo. This was a struggle for us when I was trying to get you to get the help. Babe, go to groups. You're like, I don't want to fucking go to a group. And I'm like, babe, go here. I don't want to fucking go there. Babe, I know a really good EMDR therapist. And I remember once I stopped trying to change you and once I stopped trying to fix you and I was really there to support you, that's when a whole bunch of things just started to change. And you slowly started to open up to me. I initially was personalizing that. I felt as if you were keeping all of these things from me. And I felt alone. And I'm watching my husband struggle. I'm watching my husband deal with all of these feelings. And it felt as if he was pushing me away. And me personalizing that only continued to push you away because it was like, this isn't about you. I'm struggling with this. It has nothing to do with you. I'm trying to figure this out myself. If you just let me figure this out and support me and be here for me and try to understand it, then I'll be able to go ahead and understand it myself and then share it with you. The minute I stopped personalizing and recognizing that wasn't about me, that you weren't trying to keep me from helping you, that's when you started to open up to me. And that's when you started saying, like, I just went through this evaluation and holy shit, they're diagnosing me with all of these things. I don't quite know what they mean. And that's when you and I really, really started to have in-depth conversations. There were times where we had in-depth conversations in the shower.
Yeah.
There we are, both butt-ass naked in the shower. The shower's going, the water's going, and we're just sitting down and you're talking and sharing about things that you experienced, while you were deployed, or you're sharing, what your feelings were around the passing of some of your Marines. Especially the one to suicide. And you were just recalling certain memories. And, I remember we went to go see Top Gun and, you were sharing after, was it Top Gun? It was some Maverick.
Yeah.
So after that, we stayed in the movie theater and people were like literally cleaning it, waiting for us to leave. But we stayed in there and you were just like opening up and sharing some of the experiences that were similar to what we were seeing in the movies, with certain conversations you've had with family. The next one is economic and career challenges. That one was a big one for us. You want to talk about yours?
Yeah. So kind of transitioning from the last conversation or the last thing, which was communication and career challenges, I would say that part of the issue is trying to figure out when you do find that therapist, and you do finally have the ability to open up. One of the things that I would say that we are missing from in mental health is experienced mental health providers that are also veterans. So if anybody's looking for a transitioning career field and has already, gone through this as a veteran, and if you're looking for something you can do and still want to be of service to others, that would be
good.
An amazing career for you to go into if you want to still help others because you understand what they're going through. And it won't be just helping them. It's also helping other people that are like them, such as first responders, that are also going through those transitions because of some of the trauma that they've also been through.
Yeah.
As far as finding a career challenge.
Real quick to your point.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why I feel like I'm able to rebuild a strong relationship with my firefighters and their wives, as well as any military service members that come in, is because I have experienced that as being the wife of a Marine myself. And it just feels like you're in that community. There's this level of understanding. Like, you guys don't know each other, but you totally understand what it's like with regards to deployments, with regards to trainings, with regards to that separation. And people that are not in that, people that don't have a husband or a wife as a service member, I don't think they can make that connection.
Yeah.
It's so different. Sorry, economic and career challenges.
So for the service member, it's transitioning to a civilian career, which can be challenging for veterans, as they might find that it's hard for them to translate their military skills to the civilian job market. What is it that I'm going to do? What do my job? I was just a trigger puller, or I
Yeah.
just pulled a string and watched the cannon go boom. I did all these things that to me don't correlate to a job out in the market. Well, there's all the intangible skills that you develop too as a veteran, which are going to be the things that they can't teach in the job market, in the civilian job market, which are your leadership abilities, your ability to work as a team, to get everybody to go in the same direction, to be able to mentor and mold individuals and bring out the best qualities out of them. And those are the things that oftentimes that management has challenges with, because there's people that are unwilling to have those difficult conversations with folks that aren't pulling their weight, that aren't doing their job. And in the military, that's not a difficult thing for us to do. We're constantly called out on our shortfalls, and it may not be in the best way. And that's where you are also going to have to work or figure out that challenge is finding that happy medium, and not going from being such an authoritative figure, but learning how to change and be a chameleon in the market, and figuring out how your leadership style will best suit the job market that you're going into, and figuring out the people, being more of a people person, which is something that I had to learn. Because I mean, clicking off safe, I was a former drill instructor, did it for many years, and boy, I neutered some plenty of folks when I was
Allegedly.
a civilian,
Allegedly.
and, and wanted to choke the shit out of somebody many times. But I had to figure out that wasn't the best way to handle those situations.
Yeah.
So leading through, I mean, there may be also some other challenges, leading through periods of unemployment.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out, what the hell am I going to do when I grow up? What kind of job am I going to go into? What is something that is best and most suitable for me, given the skills and abilities that I currently have right now, and where I'm going to be able to transition into that, and it's not going to be such a challenge for me? Is it going to be something that's going to give me that purposeful living in life, where I'm going to feel proud of what I'm doing? Because before, I was doing stuff for others, for the country, for my family. And am I going to find that purpose again? Or am I going to keep on job hopping? That's something you're going to have to also try to figure out. And I would say one of the best transitions in being able to do that is find yourself a mentor. Find somebody who has gone through that, maybe somebody who's also retired, or who has gone out into the job market already and has done that transition, and understand. Maybe go out, treat them to lunch, treat them to coffee, and just say, hey, can I just
pick your brain
for a little bit, and just ask you, what am I about to experience? What are some of the challenges and things that I've gone through that I need to have ready to go? What are some of the things that my family may be going that they may experience?
Maybe we need to record a podcast on that one.
Those types of things that I would say that if I can turn back time, I wish I would have had that for me when I got out. I've tried to do that for others as they've gotten out.
Yeah, you have.
So that way I can ensure that they have a smooth transition, and that they don't have that feeling of loneliness, like they're only doing it for themselves. So if you have that ability to find yourself a mentor, somebody that can help you with that transition.
For spouses, the economic instability can put pressure on the spouse to be the primary breadwinner or to support the family financially during transitions, which can be stressful and may impact their view of the marital partnership. For that one, I was already building up my practice. I was really, really laser focused on what I wanted to do. Not because I had these fears that, I can't lie and say I had these fears that we were going to go broke. And I can't say that because I knew no matter what, us as a couple, we would figure it out. And so for me, I don't feel like I had that fear of like, holy shit, was Willie going to get a job? I mean, it was like, babe, maybe you should take time off. And maybe instead of you getting a job, like you and I were looking at possibly working together. And then we realized maybe it wasn't a good idea that we work together. But yeah, I can't say that I did have that time. And one of the primary reasons why is because I was very focused on what the hell do I want to do with my life? And, for me, opening up my own practice, and doing my thing was something very, very big. And so one thing I would definitely give as feedback for spouses, I understand with this transition, it's scary because you've had this consistent money come in over and over. And depending on your husband's retirement, what he's eligible for, depending on his disability, there's a bunch of like just factors that play into how much you get, right? And that uncertainty does play into your marriage. But this is where I want you to arm yourself with, okay, this is where we're currently at, or this is what we're coming up to. Do I want to continue to be a stay-at-home mom? And if I want to continue to be a stay-at-home mom, well, what does this look like? Because I don't want you to struggle to find value in who you are because of the lack of money or resources you're bringing in. So this is a conversation I would have maybe a year, to a year and a half before you guys decide that retirement maybe is the route that you guys want to go down. So you guys have this sort of plan on what it's going to look like, and being mindful and aware that this economic and career challenge, it is a challenge. It's a challenge for both of you. Mm-hmm. And this can definitely split you guys up and impact the marriage in a very negative way, or it could be something that strengthens your marriage. You decide. Again, having that conversation off the bat is going to be big. Physical and health disabilities.
Just one thing real quick on the last topic. When you're kind of going through that economic shift, when you used to get paid every first and every 15th, and you knew that like clockwork, it was always going to happen. You knew that you were always going to have some type of percentage increase at the beginning of the year. You knew that on your anniversary date there was going to be a little bit more of a bonus during that time frame for uniforms and all this other stuff that you get every single year. You knew those things and you were prepared for them. Not only that, but you also had time off. 2.5 days per month is not something that transitioned into the civilian job market. How much time do you give your
Why are you putting me on blast? How much time do you get off?
I get starting in the federal market.
I do give my employees time off, by the way.
As a federal civilian employee, you get just starting off. If you don't do any buyback time and you just go straight from as a retiree, so it's almost as though you didn't have any time. You start off with 4 hours per pay period. So every 2 weeks you get 4 hours off. Compare that to 2.5 days per month that you used to get previously. So it will take you a really long time to get to where you used to be.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot more. So you want to make those part of the career changes, establish connections, not only finding mentors, but establish connections. Don't be afraid to be able to go out there and say, I don't know what I don't know, but I'm willing to start anywhere. Especially don't feel like you have to start immediately at the top because you got out. Maybe you were at the top and you expect that that's where you have to start. You may have to eat some crow and start at the bottom or in the middle and work your way up all over again. Mm-hmm. But that's something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself. And I think it's one of those things, finding out somebody that's going to tell you the hard things, the things that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. You're going to need to find somebody that's like that, that's already been there, done that. To be able to help you with that transition. The next thing that we wanted to talk about was the physical health and the disability. So for service members, veterans might face physical injuries and disabilities, visible and non-visible, that are stemming from their service, which can alter the family dynamics due to increased care needs and adjustments to physical limitations. I'll tell you right now, I'm 100% total permanent disabled. I am busted from head to toe. Bilateral in many areas: ankles, knees, hips, elbows, wrists, back pain. I got issues up and down my spine. I've had traumatic brain injury. I've had a whole bunch of other different things that I've developed, hard of hearing, just pain in different areas, things that I didn't have with that I had previously to joining the service that I've developed over time, allergies and things because of the things that I've inhaled over the years that have just been toxic to my body.
And you're
I've been
talking
a
about
crash test dummy for many, many years.
hold on, when you say inhaled,
So
because I want to make sure they're clear. Like this is
like
all
breathing in
from
from like just toxic
Afghanistan.
exposure from like burn pits and from
Yeah.
lead, asbestos, just a number of different areas and things that we've been in
While in the
while
military.
being in the
Yeah.
military.
I just want to make sure
And
because I don't
so
want
some
anybody
of
going, what is he smelling?
yeah, so some of those things are things that are visible to the naked eye, and some of them are not visible. A lot of them are not visible, and I had a lot of people that were like, "Man, you're in great shape, and you're doing, all these things, and I bet you could run circles around a whole bunch of people." I'm like, actually, my body feels broken. Before, I didn't feel the pain that I feel now on a daily basis because before it was masked with the fact that I would start my day off and I'd go PT and I'd work out in the morning and then I'd work my day and then I'd work out at lunchtime and then I'd work the rest of my day. And I was on probably about uh, 2 or 3 cups of coffee, 2 or 3 freaking monsters during the day, and uh, high on life and just ready to do all great things and just kick ass on a daily basis. Now that my body is everything has kind of hit the brakes and I no longer have to do those things and are required to do those things, pain starts to set in and things that you thought would have gotten better over time are going to get worse. And nobody gives a shit about you except for you. So if don't expect a pity party because nobody cares.
Baby, I care.
Other veterans don't give a shit because they're doing the same things and going through the same physical challenges. And so when you have to care about yourself, and the only person that's going to care about you is you. So get seen, get evaluated. It's a process that sucks, but if you don't do it, and later on you're like kicking yourself in the ass, saying, "I wish I would have done it, and now I'm going to try to do it," and you get some of these guys that they're just like, "I hate the military, and I'm just going to burn my medical record. I'm going to burn my dental record. I'm going to burn all my uniforms," and then later on they're like, "I'm so broken. I just need to get seen by somebody because I don't know what the hell this is, and it's getting worse." But it's related to your service. Well, good luck with that. And it's going to be a challenge to get all those things all over again. Yeah. And yes, a lot of that stuff is electronic nowadays and you can go get a new printout of it, but you have to do something with it. Make copies of your medical records, make copies of your dental records, multiple copies. Because when you send it off to the VA, it's probably going to get, it might get lost down the line. So make a master copy, keep that copy for yourself. One of them you're going to give to the clinicians. One of them you're going to give to the service members, the DAV or the VFW or anybody that's a veteran service officer that's going to help you out. You're going to give them a fat copy of that as well. And then you're going to have to put all your claims down and anything that you've ever experienced in your life while in the service, you're going to have to write that down. And the things that you've experienced at least 3 times or more are going to be the things that are going to go down as claims. Yeah. So start your preparation before you get out, not after you've already gotten out, because then it's too late. So if you have surgeries to get done, get those done before you get out. You could do your rehabilitation after you get out, but you want to do all that stuff, all the major surgeries and all that stuff prior to you getting out, because it's going to be a challenge when you do get out. A lot of VA facilities are also education facilities. So meaning that you're going to have medical students that are going to be doing a lot of procedures and working with, yes, experienced doctors, but they're also going to be working on you. So do you want that, or do you want some, officer, naval officer or Army officer or whatever, Air Force officer that has been doing it for a number of years and is high in the food chain and is experienced, and them doing the medical procedure on you? I prefer that it's the person with more experience. So, and understands what this is going to look like while you're in and how that transition is going to happen for you. So you got to get seen. You got to work on your disability, because that is money that is going to pay you for the rest of your life until you're dead. Your disability rating can go up. It could also go down. So if you get a certain disability rating and you get scheduled for appointments, if you miss those appointments, the VA looks at it as though you are getting better. And so you really didn't need that appointment. So your disability, you could get a re-rating and it could actually go down. If you reschedule appointments, it's looked at as though you didn't need the appointment. So make sure that you're maintaining and going to your appointments, because you can also get reevaluated and get your disability rating increased if they see that you're going to a lot of appointments because they see that things are actually getting worse, not better. And then you can get a higher rating. So if you want any advice on this, please reach out. I'd be glad to help any veterans that are out there that need this information that can help them, especially through this transition, because that economic portion of the piece of the family, that's something that can really, really help you. And your disability is tax free. Uncle Sam can't take that. That's money that's owed to you for the rest of your life. And depending on what your rating is, you may also be taking care of your family for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
You may be sending your kids off to college for free. And so those are just some of the benefits of that. I know it's not everything, but it's something. It can also help you out so you're not paying taxes on your home.
Mm-hmm.
It'll help you with being able to get into state parks and getting fishing and hunting licenses and a whole bunch of other benefits that are out there for veterans. So take advantage of these things. That's all I have.
The biggest thing with all of this, the physical health and disability, I think that threw us for a huge loop.
Mm-hmm.
Willie, when he went to go ahead and get these assessments, like he said earlier, he had no idea it was this bad. And I had no idea it was that bad. There were a couple times where I noticed Willie would roll out of bed, and it's like, well, I wonder why he rolls out of bed like that. But then I just went about my day. And then I'm in session with the firefighter telling me I can't get out of bed. I literally have to roll out because my back hurts. And I was like, hold on.
Light bulb.
Yeah, like totally. I was just like, well, my husband rolls out of bed, but it can't be for the same reason. And then no shit. After that session, I called. I was like, babe, does it hurt when you get out of bed? Is that why you roll out of bed? And he's like, I always roll out of bed. I can't just get up. I literally roll out. And I was like, no, I know. I see your ass.
Chicken?
I was like, no, I know. I see your ass roll out. But I always thought that that's just the way you got out of bed. I mean, I thought it was a little weird, but I wasn't going to make fun of you or anything. And then there were other things that it was like, holy shit. Like when he works out and he works out hardcore, like he can't do certain things anymore. And then like all of these things that he mentioned, it was like, holy shit, this is real. This is really happening. And that was a huge adjustment for me. Because for me, and this is why Willie stressed on like the things that you see and don't see. Like for me, Willie's the sexiest man alive. So for me, it's like, he looks great.
Thank you.
You're welcome, baby. However, this sexy man that I have, there's like all of these limitations. And I'm thankful that he shares them with me. But I had no idea that they were actually happening until he started talking about them. And when he's saying, reach out to the VA, obviously in no way, shape, or form are we saying, for you to file a false claim. Like,
not at all.
It is very important. Whatever you're experiencing, go to a doctor for it. Find out what that is. And I have to say, on the spouse's end, if your partner, and I know this part sucks, but if you're seeing all these things and your partner's still not doing, the things he needs to go ahead and protect himself, this is where you need to get the help you need.
Or she.
Yeah, you need to get the help you need, because watching your partner in this time of struggle, it is emotionally draining. And so it is very, very important that you get the help you need, and you are there to support your partner through this process. When they're ready, they will get the help they need. They will. And it kind of goes back to like trusting. The other thing that I want to make sure I mention is during this time, the spouse may need to take on caregiving responsibilities, which can be physically and emotionally demanding. They might struggle with the transition from partner to caregiver, which can also impact the relationship. And this is where we're going to have honest conversations. And if you don't know how to have these honest conversations, this is where couples therapy comes in. It's not that you're saying, I don't want to take care of you. I don't want to be your caregiver. It's more of this, there's a transition in our relationship. And there's a transition from me being your partner to me being your partner and your caregiver. And I'm still trying to process through this loss. I'm still trying to process through the demands of this. And it is okay. There's no judgment. There's no criticism. It is very, very crucial, like I said, for you to have these honest conversations. So, babe, we got to wrap up. What would you like to address?
I would say that addressing these issues often requires a multifaceted approach, and this includes open communication, being able to open up about everything. Counseling is something that is important. I used to frown upon it because it was, to me, showing signs of weakness. But I would say that now, as a transitioning veteran, or as a veteran that has transitioned, counseling is probably one of the most powerful things that you can go do to help you look at some of the core issues that you have, that you're facing, and being able to help you get through some of those daily struggles. Support groups. Find yourself some people that are going to help you grow, help you learn, help you see what transition is like, help you understand some of those things before you do actually experience those things, and finding other people that are in like situations so you don't feel like you're by yourself. And sometimes getting professional help from therapists who understand the unique challenges faced by veteran families. Like I said before, psychology today, you can find somebody who is a therapist who specializes in veterans, and specializes in PTSD and maybe some of the things that the unique challenges that you're facing as a veteran and in a veteran family. Building a support system and seeking out resources specifically designed for veterans and their families can be crucial in navigating through some of these challenges. So I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there that are currently serving, that have served. Thank you for your service and for all the great things that you do and continue to do for everybody that's out there.
Definitely. And like what Willie said, thank you guys so much, both of you, for serving our country and for making one of the biggest sacrifices, again, to protect all of us. I hope these steps, they're not steps. I hope these resources, as well as tools that we've provided you, not only help you, but you also find the sense of familiarity in. And I really, really hope that you guys get the care you need. Like Willie said, you are more than welcome. Please, please, please feel free to go ahead and reach out to us. We are here to help. That's all we have for today. Bye for now. Oh, what were you going to say? I was just going to say bye for now.
Last thing, and most important, or one of the most important things. And on Friday, November 10th, it's also November 10th, 1775. The Marine Corps was born in a bar. And so it is our birthday on Friday, November 10th.
So, boom. That's right. Happy birthday, Marines. Bye. Raise your hand if you are ready to level up your marriage for 2023. Do you find that you're spending your time together with your husband checked out and in front of the TV? I know you're ready for tangible strategies that actually get you results. Reignite the spark in your marriage, have fun, and grow together. Well, I hope you have your hand raised at this minute because I have something special for you. I'm introducing my brand new 6-question marriage predictor quiz that's gonna give you personalized results to catapult you into the next stage of your marriage journey. That means you'll receive the results to where your marriage can get the best help. If you've got just 1 minute, head to veronicacisneros.org/quiz. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, and you could take my brand new quiz, Marriage Predictor. Get your results delivered right to your email address. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, veronicacisneros.org/quiz. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.
Addiction impacts all of us. Addiction's consequences run through all of us. From ourselves to our loved ones and through our communities, addiction creates so much loss and grief. My name is Dwayne Osterlin, and I'm the host of the Addicted Mind podcast, a show featuring personal stories, expert guests, and vital information about addiction and addiction recovery. We'll talk with leading treatment providers to discuss the latest research and treatment options for this devastating disease and advocate for mental health awareness. We discuss topics like the importance of creating a community of support to helping loved ones to some of the latest research on psychedelic medicines. The Addicted Mind podcast has been about creating hope, listening to stories of many amazing people that have overcome addiction and are thriving. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, subscribe to the Addicted Mind podcast wherever you get your podcasts or check out theaddictedmind.com. New episodes every Monday. See you there.